What's up, guys? Welcome to the Adventures of Adam, and welcome to the Fateless Halloween special. Queen of the Dead, apparently, is what we're watching. I haven't seen this yet. I'm going to be watching this for the first time with you guys, so this is going to be my live reaction. So, I've heard it's cool, but I haven't seen any spoilers for it. So let's watch it together.
Hey guys, this is Simon from
Okay, looks like we're getting a little feedback into the microphone. Now let's watch it.
Fateless, and today we've cooked up an amazing spooky Halloween special for you guys. I'm so excited for this one. It's going to be such a cool reveal. I'm going to take you through one of our heroes, probably the scariest one yet, work you through
Full 1080p, baby.
Some of the research we did, some of the mood boarding, the 2D, then the iteration on that, then the 3D modeling, take you right the way up to animations and VFX in-game of this Norse awesome hero. Ah, man, this one I've been waiting to show you guys for a while. I've got to call it out. Ragewood, who does content on Godforge already, spotted this like a couple weeks back. I'm like, the guy's basically a detective at this point. And in one of his videos, he was like, I bet this is going to be a Halloween special. And I'm like, damn, that's exactly what it's going to be, which is kind of funny.
If you guys don't know what Ragewood, he is a small content creator, but I like him a lot. His videos make me laugh. He's just having fun and being himself. You should really go check him out.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about Hel from Norse mythology. So the ruler of the underworld in Norse. Such a cool character. So many like cool takes on Hel over the years. But we've got our own one. And honestly, our top work. I'd say it's literally our top work so far. So really, really impressed with it. A lot of you will probably think of Hel or Hela as the kind of like Marvel character. You know, Odin's daughter, that type of stuff.
Okay.
Not quite right, actually. So Hel is the queen of Helheim, which is actually the underworld in Norse mythology. Interestingly, if Vikings didn't die in battle and they died in a dishonorable way or a cowardly way, i.e. they died of old age, they would go to Hel. And Hel was equally named. She was a daughter of Loki, the trickster, and basically she ruled there. Odin sent her down to Hel to rule. So yeah, pretty cool actually. The mythology of it is super fun. I was reading through it and
Even if the Marvel universe didn't get the lore 100% accurate, I'm glad that they changed it because it made the story more compelling, making him the sister of like Thor and Loki. But I'm interested to see if they're going to stay true to the real lore or if they're going to take some creative liberties as well.
I learned a bunch of stuff because I also just kind of watch Marvel films. But yeah, she is, I just want to go into a description here because it's definitely part of the take that we've got on what she would look like. Yeah, so here we go. So her appearance is described as being half flesh covered, just like a living human being, and half blue. Her personality traits are described as threatening, harsh, and cruel. Right, let's go on to some of the mood boarding we did.
Sounds like a lot of women I know.
Generally here, what Esther does is she looks at general styles, visual kind of cues, things that we want to try and call out. And I like what Esther's doing here. So she's looking at different fashion, different inspirations. She's looking at kind of like posing, that type of stuff. And yeah, she's kind of like called out 1, 2, 3 on this board. Emissive specific areas where you can see glowing veins or skeleton hints on 1 here. 2, half rotten body. So you can see the kind of like the rotten side of this character. Not sure what this is from actually. And then 3, an exoskeleton in the form of armor, which she can kind of call out on this arm. But still, lots of cool kind of takes here. And then we've got a second mood board where this is more just looking at dark witches, sorceresses, necromancer type of a board, really. So again, lots of just cool images of how do you create that fear on a hero or a character, you know, artistically. So some really, really nice touches here. And again, just some inspiration points for Esther before she starts to do her a kind of like general feel. She's then looked at Hel specifically and different takes on Hel in different games or film or, you know, comics, that type of stuff. Hel appearances as is described as half blue and half flesh covered, and further as having a gloomy, downcast appearance. So again, there's just kind of some really cool takes here. There's kind of like skeletal view in the top left. It's almost like half, almost like who's the female Wolverine? Can't remember, but anyway, really, really cool take here on the right. Yeah, some really nice visual cues. So we get to the point where we get our first set of 2D concepts. So I guess the first kind of mini reveal of the direction we were going with on our version.
Okay, so there's some like Raven motifs going through this one, which I really like, especially if she's related to Odin, because he's kind of got the same sort of Raven-esque motifs in his appearance. So that makes a lot of sense, and I just think those shoulders look really cool. It reminds me of something that I would see in World of Warcraft, and that's always like, you know, for me that's a big plus. Also, these like antler, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm really liking this vibe, but this one's pretty cool too, in the center.
Of hell, and very like sorceress, I guess, skeletal or
Actually, I just noticed this detail. You could like see her ribs like glowing through her skin, and the femur bone right here. That's actually really cool. The glowing skeleton underneath. I like that a lot.
kind of this kind of like different vibe on the left hand side of her, but with 3 different iterations that we could start to talk about and get excited about, honestly. And what's cool here is we then have this kind of like feedback session back and forth between artists, myself, Dane comes in, the people really that start to support Esther and the different team which do these different concepts in for us. So I said here at this point, these are cool. I like the idea of her face having this kind of like half and half effect, but I'd like to go a bit scarier on Hell. And you know, I dropped a couple of references. So this was a reference which I dropped in. Esther then kind of came up with a 4th iteration where now we've got this almost like roots coming.
There's like this piece of Misfits merchandise that was made for like a woman's t-shirt where it's got these 2 skeleton hands that come around and grab the boobies. I think Susie actually has the shirt. I've seen her wear it before. But yeah, that's what this reminds me of here. You can see like these like bony fingers coming around. So that's kind of cool. A nice little call out to the Misfits.
Coming through more kind of like ghostly, almost like a little bit more deformed, but still using the same kind of like base meshes. Dane then pipes up and he's like, right, nice work but for this legendary, and it is important that it's a legendary, but we do try and push the boat when we're going higher rarities. I think we need to take a moment and really ramp up the type of details and play with the silhouette. And then what Dane tends to do is some overdraw work. So he then dropped a couple more references in. It was like, bam, this one from Valhalla Kings, this one here as well, just from kind of like Googling different versions. And Dane basically comes in with this one, where he's done an overdraw. So he takes the final piece that Esther has done, and he's like, right, can we really ramp up different elements? And
this is cool.
What he'll do is he'll literally break down the different pieces that he's looking to adapt or change, and he'll just do like a call out to different areas of it. So Dane's line drawing is immense, by the way. He's like so good at this in terms of knowing proportion, knowing visual cues. It's really, really good. Like it's amazing to see when he does this type of visual cue to support the
This staff also, man, it really reminds me of something that you'd see straight out of World of Warcraft. Like particularly the Cataclysm expansion. I feel like there was a staff that looked very similar to this. Like, yeah, I'm loving the aesthetics of these character designs.
concept team. And it really is like this kind of like 50-50 approach to trying to create something great, honestly. So I'm just going to take you through some of the notes that Dane made here. So it's basically like number 1, on the boots, we can use these leggings and instep armor. 2, the hood and twisted root branch. So this kind of like area around here. We want to take it even further. And at the moment, it's kind of like too understated. We want it to be much bigger and wrap.
Yeah, man, just over exaggerate everything. Like this is a fantasy game. Like make it fantastic. I love that. I love like this looks super cool, but the fact that he's saying like take it further, I love it. I love it.
Even more. Number
Over
3,
the top.
which is kind of like the colorings and the stuff around her face. These green areas are basically the undead half from your designs. We want to push this even further. A fully spectral translucent half with the skeleton shown through. I've moved some costume elements to cover up the seams. but we want to take the opportunity to make her a really spooky lady. Then we got number 4, which is kind of
And I love that he's even like, apparently Dane really liked the fact that the skeleton was like showing through the skin too, because he's incorporated that in his design as well. You can see the pelvis and the femur and the ribs and the humerus, the tibia and I forget which ones those are. Radius and ulna. Yeah, okay. It's been a while since but we got there in the end. Yeah, like that looks really cool.
referencing her arms and stuff. We can keep this sleeve shape, but maybe exaggerate it more. Number 5, to integrate her weapon, we could put similar underworld crystals from like this on.
Calling them the underworld crystals, that's like, man, it reminds me of like art assets that you would see in the Deep Home and in the Cataclysm expansion. There was this whole like dungeon in Deep Home, and it had like these blue crystals coming out of the ground. That's exactly what it reminded me of, and they're calling them the underworld crystals. It's really cool, really cool. And Deep Home was like in the center of Azeroth.
Onto her form, so onto her arm and her kind of like almost like crystal root thing that's coming out here. And then 6, let's make sure that we've got a cool cape going on rather than just like a straight down cape. So,
and I imagine these will be like smoky tendrils, sort of like, dancing around. I'm hoping anyway. That would be really sick. Almost looking like blue flames or blue smoke, like just. I'm picturing. That's what I'm picturing in my mind. Hopefully, it lives up to that expectation, because that would be amazing.
A number of different kind of reference points here to try and help Esther kind of get to that final piece. So we then get to our final 2D concept, and phenomenal work, honestly. So really great work. We get the full body shot here with the kind of now visual. You can see the bones kind of like coming through.
And they kept that, the Misfits call out with the skeleton hands coming around.
You've got the root now, as Dane kind of drawed it, with these almost like crystals coming out the other end. This kind of like real cool bodysuit going on. And then we've got a nice back view with almost like a flowing style cape.
I would almost love it if rather than a hood, they just made this her hair. Like, just make it her hair. Like, because it's so ragged and flowy. Like, they should just make that her long hair. I mean, the hood does look really good on the front view, but the rear view, it would just be so much cooler if this was just her hair long and flowy. I don't know. Just my 2 cents.
I really like the color scheme as well. It works so well. Very, very cool. And you've still got this kind of like nice Norse style visual when you do the close up as well on, the top of her
neck piece looks really cool too.
Top of her hood. And you just see the kind of like hair braid coming down. Really, really cool visual. So let's jump into 3D. So I'm going to take you through some steps here. We've got day 2 of the block out. So what the artists tend to do, they get the general forms in. This is Walter, who is an absolute god when it comes to anything 3D design. Honestly, this guy is unreal. So on day 2, you're already getting like the main shapes of her armor, her cape, the general form coming in. Day 3, he starts to go in and do some face work. And all the time, not all the time, every few days, we give a bit of feedback around general shape and stuff if we need to. But this one was going on really well. And obviously, you can see that at the moment, it's a fully human kind of look. We're then getting to day 10, where Walter's really like working on the armor specifically. And, some of the kind of the torso detailing. Day 11, he does work on the neck. This is where Walter works. Not everyone does it in this way, by the way, but Walter would just take piece by piece and like perfect that whilst he's doing his work. So
if you look closely at this chest armor, it almost looks like it has like fibers running through it the way your muscular formation does. It's kind of cool. So you've got like the skeletal form, and then like what almost looks like muscle fibers running like in parallel with it. It's pretty cool.
It's a very, very cool way to see it, because you see all of the individual pieces being done. You can see this kind of like work on the arm here, and this almost definitely feel to it. We get to day 15, and he starts to do work on the face. Oh, so good. The work is so good. So you start to get this kind of rotten side of the face with the glowing eye, and hell starts to be born, honestly. And when you then put the other pieces on, we're really getting a great visual, a great feel from the 3D. Got the decayed arm here, a bit of extra work on day 16, where he's really kind of like ramped up the visual on the arm. And then we get to the high poly final, which is all of the...
Something I want to point out real quick, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show Face Off. It's like a reality show where special effects makeup artists are competing against one another, trying to create really cool special effects makeup effects. And one of the things that always gets critiqued and judged poorly is when they try to do a special effect that goes straight down the center of the face and divide the face in two. It's very hard to pull off. And I think that's a big part of the reason why a lot of people hate the ninja face look in Raid Shadow Legends, is because they basically cut the face in half and made half of it blue glowy and the other half not. So that's something that they're going to have to be really careful of, but I think they're pulling it off. We won't know for sure until it's complete. We see a final product.
From a sculpting point of view.
Also, man, this like spine coming down the back with the vertebrae, like it's not actually vertebrae, but the fact that it looks like vertebrae is really cool. It's, man, this looks so good.
It's not all the textures yet. It's all of the work from a sculpting. You can see the whole right-hand side of her body has got this kind of like decayed feel. You've got the normal side of her body, the human side, on her left-hand side. So we then get to a kind of reveal. This is when the hero is baked down. So what does that mean? So you take a high poly, which is a lot of polygons, you bake it down so that then you can retexture the model, and it will then work well on things like mobile, right? So this is like a look at a bake, which is one of the different elements we go through. He then starts to do the texturing work. So what does that mean? It's bringing in the sort of colors we'd actually want to see in game, and you can really get a feel now for the visual quality of Hell looking absolutely insane.
Dude, this is, man, it's like her bones are glowing. I would almost like to see, it's just such a harsh line of where it stops. I think I don't know. I feel like it should almost like start to creep over and like fade more slowly. But I don't know. It still looks really cool.
In this visual, and Walter absolutely knocking it out the park on the visual. So this is before we're in game, and we start to get the 3D now turntable for her as a finished model with the textures done. So good. It's actually so good. I love this one. It's so brilliant. And then we get a close-up on the face again, the turntable. Look at the work. It's really cool. Absolutely top quality work. And this is before we add any VFX and stuff. So, you know, we're really starting to get into a place now where, you know, we can see everything.
That was before they added VFX? Okay. I thought the glow was like, maybe they'll add more of like a ambient light radiating from it or something.
Going on. The weapon's also sculpted in the same way, and we want the weaponry to feel like it belongs to that person, you know, that character. So
that's something I truly believe in as well. And there's something that I've seen pop up on the Discord a lot where people will say like, oh, it would be really cool if we equipped our heroes with certain gear sets if the aesthetic of those gear sets was represented on the heroes. And I'm like, why would you want that? Like, it sounds cool, but like, look how good the heroes look in their base form. And also, if you've ever played any MMO, particularly World of Warcraft, when you have like 2 pieces of one set and then 2 pieces of another set and then 2 pieces of another set, you look like a clown. Like, if the sets don't match, just, it sounds cool in theory, but unless you made all of the sets have a similar aesthetic and make it so they could match and look well together when you equip them, it's not going to look good. Just let the team cook. You know, they're killing it on the aesthetics and the visuals. Why would you want to change her appearance by equipping a set of armor? It looks too cool as it is.
We get the weapon there, and I guess let's go into engine and start to look at the final reveal. So we then, once we've got our 3D model, we need to move on to animation, and we need to move on to obviously things like visual effects. Now, what we've done here, I'm just showing you some of the different...
Also, looks like Simon got a haircut. Looking fresh.
work that we do along the way. So Here is just some block out animation that Brandon from the team does. So he's kind of like giving us initial feels for what an idle breaker might look like, what an idle might look like, and then we give feedback to him. So Brandon's done a couple here. This is just like a block out feel of it. Look at the finger.
So when he's talking about like an idle animation, this is just what the character does while they're standing there. Like when you open up the hero screen or the index or whatever and you just see him standing there, this is kind of what they do passively. Rather than just like sitting there like a robot, they kind of, you know, move to make the game feel alive.
It's just kind of like pulsing, really, really cool.
That one's sick.
Very, very cool. So you can just kind of get a feel of what some of the animations will look like. So before the big reveal, I just want to show you some of the work we've done on rigging quickly. What we've actually got is way improved rigs. Like the rigs now are so much better than they were before, which means we've got like more flexibility in what we can do with the models. And here's a nice little demo here from Damon.
Make it
dance.
dancing.
But you can see some of the work that's been done in different areas of the rig without causing too much like pain for devices. And this is the thing, like there's only so much you can do to make mobile run smoothly for kind of like different level of devices, but we just wanted to add some different elements to our rigs. So we've now got some of the...
So what he's saying there, it's the reason why mobile games have lesser graphics. The graphics card on my PC is like this big, which is like, you know, you compare that to like the size of a phone. My graphics card is like 5 times the size of this actual phone on my PC. You can't, you know, you have to design with that in mind. Otherwise, no one's going to be able to play it on their device.
The kind of eye movement possible. We've got mouth movement possible. You can see the finger flexing is possible. Like there's a whole bunch of extra things we've added, which just means that we can give more character to the heroes that we're...
This is where they would put the jiggle physics in.
creating. Okay, so let's bring it all together. Let's have a look in engine, in game.
Dude. That looks so cool, man.
We've got the portrait here on the left-hand side, which is looking cool.
Of course she's Chaos. And she's a Slayer. Okay, so she's going to be a damage dealer. Oh, they changed the gear icon. This used to be just a sword and shield. Now it's like a helm with like 2 swords going through, like a skull and crossbones. That's cool. I like that.
Which is very, very telling of Hell from what we've seen so far. And then we get the in-game with some visual effects going off on the eye and the weapon. And we just get like kind of like a little flourish here for her idle break. Obviously, we still got to work through all of her ability animations and that type of stuff, but so good. Such a...
This is the first one we've seen, like, I guess Zeus kind of had particle effects on his staff, but man.
Cool like release for Halloween. So enjoy your Halloween, and we will see you in the next one.
Wait, what did her title say? Hell, Queen of the Dead. And she is this green affinity. Interesting. Very cool.
Enjoy your Halloween, and we will see you in the next one.
See ya, Simon. It's been a pleasure. Oh, hey, and there's Ragewood. It's not loading. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one.